All right, everyone. John Carish here with Kaba Cycles again with our Ford Transit mobile service build. This part's on how to mount a permanent type repair stand in here. And, you know, obviously we are going to want to work outside the van some, so we'll have a park professional stand just to keep folded up back here somewhere and pull out if we need to. But I wanted something inside it that was really easy to get to, sturdy, just throw the doors open, get the bike in there and get to work. Because the whole idea here is efficiency, and if you're wasting time with every flat fix, unfolding a stand, that's going to kind of eat into your time. But anyway, so one thing I'll mention first is these walls here on the side, they've got a slope to them, okay? Meaning they're canted inward on each side about 3.5 degrees. And this stuff gets tricky in here to measure, but what I used a lot was like a cheap angle meter on these roof beams up here, like right in the center portion, and that'll kind of give you a reference which way the van is tilting, because you probably got it parked in a crooked parking lot. That's our case. So from there you can kind of use reference angles as to what the other stuff is. And so what that meant for this thing is that I had to build an angle shoving the bottom of that stand outwards there. So where that ended up is two 2x4s sandwiched together on the bottom, but only one up top. And if you come back here, that thing's within like a degree of level, which I'm pretty happy with that. So as far as the actual process here, first thing you're gonna be relying on these M8 by 1.25 threaded holes that are welded into the frame of the Transit. We got, I think, yeah, we had 3 up top and only 2 on the bottom. That was plenty though. So what I did, cut the boards to 69 inches in length. That went from kind of one panel seam to the other. I didn't necessarily want it butted up against the very end of the van. That didn't really make sense. So both those are cut to the same length. And the thing will come up sometimes with inside a van, like pressure treated or not. I really don't think it matters. I've looked this up some, and I think the concerns of like off-gassing chemicals and whatnot are kind of overstated. So just buy whatever's handy and is really straight. So process here, cut them, make a, I measured from each seam to the center of each hole in succession, and then marked it on the board before I drilled anything. Same for the bottom here. Measure everything first, mark it, drill it. And I came back and test fit them, and I had to file a little bit away. Not much though. If you have to elongate those holes, a jigsaw can come in pretty handy, really. So once you get them, you know everything's gonna test fit through there. You gotta deal with your 4x4. And I used a 4x4 to space the bike away. Like, park stand measures like 14 inches from here out to the center of the clamp, and that's fine for most road bikes, but I want to get some mountain bikes in here too with the wider bars and not be running into the paneling over here that I'm gonna put up. So this ends up coming out like from the, let's see, from the actual van wall surface, like from there to there. That's like 19 inches. And that gives room to rotate that bike around, and you can get around behind it to work on it from either side. And, you know, you can also pick either side of the van that you wanted. I originally wanted to do driver's side. I realized I had plenty of room over here. Test fit this with a really big bike and measure how much clearance you got on each side. I used a 2.9er size extra large. And due to the way these bikes angle in the stand, either way they're put in, they're not going to be true to length necessarily. So just consider that, and also set it up where I'd room to work on it drive side out or disc brake side out in the case of having to bleed and work on brakes and whatnot. So as far as mounting all this, with all this stuff down, not bolted up yet, I bolted into the 2x4s into the 4x4 with some deck screws, same up there. And then once that was secure, I went ahead and put this whole thing up into the wall and tightened it most of the way down. And then went ahead and pre-drilled some pilot holes and put in some like burly lag screws here. Like, I think these are like 3.5 inches, biggest diameter ones I could find. And that thing's super strong. That's not going anywhere. It'll easily hold the e-bike. So go ahead and bolt that in, and then you're pretty much good to go. You just careful with your lateral right there, side to side. And also as far as up and down height, just be aware, like, this is a mid-roof van. So to right here is like a little over 69 inches from the floor. So just be careful that you don't set this thing up so high if you're taller, or you're running into the ceiling with the seat. I set this one, I think, like center of the clamp to floor, like 57 inches or so. But that covers everything as far as putting this in. Let me know if you have any questions. That's it.